Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Always fingers up, two of them. It's your host, Sabotage, and this is the Bowlers Edition, Sabotage's NBA. Ladies and gentlemen, as y'all know, as most y'all know, the season is officially over, as in the regular season, and we are in the midst of you know what. Don't say its name. The play-ins, ladies and gentlemen, and the regular playoffs start April 16th. If you don't know the matchups, I can go ahead tell ya and show ya. Um, this is obviously the. This is weird. It doesn't look like they have the. I don't know if this is not the full schedule or something, but looks like it's more of the Eastern Conference schedule or Eastern/Western. Oh yeah, that's the problem. It's the play-ins, ladies and gentlemen. The play-ins. You got to know. But yeah, the playing games haven't ended. That's why. Obviously, today as in tomorrow, we got Clippers versus Timberwolves for that 7-6. And then the next day, we got the 10 versus 8 Spurs Pelicans. That's the West Coast. And then we got the East Coast Hornets versus Hawks. Nets versus Clippers. Then these are good matchups. Like, I somewhat expected the teams in the play-ins to be in. Well, I guess they are in the 7-8 seed, so those I expect those teams to actually be in. To be honest, Timberwolves in the beginning of the year not so much, but once it hit mid, I'm pretty sure most people thought they would. And then the Cavs with how good they were playing, but Jared Allen. I'm not even sure on. I just looked up the other days in the injury report. I'm not sure if he's come back or he's out, or I don't know what the situation is with him. Similar with Boston, where they have a situation in that center power forward area, where it's just the team doesn't look as good. With them out. It just doesn't look good at all, actually. Even though the Cavs still look pretty decent, they got a lot of size all around. I mean, like most of their players are close to 7 feet tall. They still got Evan Mobley. They still got Laurie Markkinen. Um, Caleb obviously isn't playing. I'm pretty sure did Caleb play? I'm not 100, but I'm pretty sure Caleb played. Caleb played center at one point in his career, but I'm not 100 on that. So I'm gonna go with the Nets. I mean, I'm gonna go with the Nets as long as KD, Kyrie put up the numbers, and I'm pretty sure they are because ever since they started playing with each other, that team has been balling. Plus, they got some youngins who's been playing out, as in is it Kessler Edwards? Kessler, I'm pretty sure it's Kessler. Let's look up their yeah, Kessler Edwards, and then they got another youngin, as in obviously Nicholas Claxton has been playing better. Who's the other one? And Bruce Brown has actually been playing pretty decent. I've heard some rubbish on his name, but he's actually been playing pretty decent. And then I think the other one is Cameron Thomas, Cam Tom. Cam Tom is actually pretty good too. And then they added the Drummond for the rebounding skills, both sides. So, and they also, I mean, who did they lose in that? Did they lose a center? No, they just lost James Harden. So in a way, they got some strength, and then they added a bunch of strength in the shooting department from last year. But then again, they lost Joe Harris. I'm pretty sure Joe Harris is actually out for the rest of the season. If you didn't know, now you know. But yeah, Joe Harris is out. So, but they added Patty Mills and Curry. I mean, when Patty Mills is on, he's on. Like if they're in a Game 7 scenario and you needed a shooter to be on, I'm pretty sure Patty Mills could put it up. But then again, you have Kyrie, one of the deadliest shooters ever. Kevin Durant, one of the deadliest shooters ever. I don't know about the Ben Simmons situation. I seen a tweet. I don't know if it was Woj or who it was, but they said that he was probably going to be ready for the play. I'm not sure about the plans, but probably playoffs. And then they added Dragic, and Dragic is playing really good. And they also got LaMarcus Aldridge. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with them winning that, but I don't know. For me, I don't feel like the other teams have enough, as in the other Eastern Conference team, to hang with the Cavaliers or the Nets. But then again, actually, both teams might be better than the Nets. I mean, the Cavaliers, since um, Spencer Dinwiddie, or not Dinwiddie, Carius LeVert hasn't just, he's been good, but not like as good as you want him to be. Um, Obviously, Darius Garland's been balling since he's been in the league. So I don't know if they're gonna have. I mean, I remember like 2, 3 days ago there was a game where like they were on a drought for a little bit, and then out of nowhere they came out and just started firing. So it's like here and there with them. If they can come out, I mean, the crazy thing about it's not a playoffs. It's technically not a playoff game, but it is, because it's just one and done. But the Cavs have two opportunities, because I don't. Man, it's so hard to go bet against either team, but I'm gonna go with the Nets winning it, and then the Cavs versus Hawks, mainly because the Hawks just have more experience over the Hornets team, who actually were in the play-ins last year too, but lost. I'm pretty sure the Hawks were a 6 seed last year and didn't have. I forget. Did they have to deal with this? I totally like the whole all of last year's already gone for me, other than when Kevin Durant's big toe was on the line and. I barely remember last year, other than that part and his KD's crazy game. Oh, and the Clippers coming back from that Dallas Mavericks. Those were some of the main parts. Oh, and there's a lot of and then the Jazz messing it up, but the Hornets are actually a really good team too. They both have really good point guards. I mean, the Hornets have PJ Washington. They just have talent all around. It's just the experience, but they did have experience somewhat. See, I'm like contradicting, but it's like these playing games like just make it a little bit harder, because both teams are actually good, but the Hawks actually have been one of the best East Coast, actually one of the best teams in the NBA in the past 7 games all around. So it's not just in the East Coast, and Trey's been going off with the. John Collins playing pretty decent. You got Clint Capella back, and he's playing pretty decent. DeAndre Hunter is actually playing pretty well too. And you got the two shooters more than two shooters. Gallinari shooting. Kevin Herter actually hurting them with them threes as well. So it's like I feel like I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. The Cavs win it. No, Cavs. But see, when it gets to that, it's when it gets to Cavs Hawks, it's really hard to decide. But then again, I just kind of made a point where it's actually pretty easy, and that it should be Hawks getting in, and it should be Neds going in. Cavaliers somehow, like, these games are, even if whoever loses or wins, I don't see it being easy unless the Cavs actually get overwhelmed and all the situations all the injuries, as in Colin Sexton, as in unless if Jared Allen's actually out there, then this is actually a completely different scenario. I'm not sure on Jared Allen being out there just yet, so we'll see about that. So for now, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Nets, and then Hawks, and then I got third choice Cavaliers, fourth choice Hornets going in. Wouldn't it be crazy if Hornets get in, and then Hornets and Cavs get in, Nets and Hawks don't get in? So I'd be like, but it's whatever. You got to make predictions, and that's what I'm going to go with. And the West Coast, you got Clippers versus Timberwolves. Paul George is back, better than ever. That's also another one of these teams that just like for a little bit after the break, they were somewhat stumbling, and then a little bit after that, they came back and started balling. Then PG came back and started balling, and now they're balling all together. Then you got one of the best guards, I think, just all around guard, as in Jackson. Sorry, Miss Mr. Jackson, as in Mr. Reggie Jackson. I do believe that he's one of the best all around guards, but then again, maybe it's the system he plays with under Ty Lue. If you don't think he's one of the best, I mean, just watch. You probably haven't watched enough Clippers games then. Guess I'm somewhat fortunate enough to watch enough Clippers games to know that. But with him, with all the shooters they have. They got Nikki B. I mean, we can go ahead and look at their roster. I mean, it's a deadly roster, ladies and gentlemen. But you can't. Similar with like Hornets and Cavs and the other East Coast team, it's more of the experience. Why I'm gonna go ahead and go with the PG. I'm not even gonna think about it. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the PG. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Los Angeles Lake Clippers. Oh yeah, I almost said Lakers, but yeah, obviously Lakers ain't there. Oh, and with the addition of Robert Covington, Amir Coffey, he's just been second year, probably one of the best or most improved players of the year. I'm sure he's not going to get it, but he's been one of the best. Even Isaiah Hartenstein. Maybe it's just Ty Lue's system. It's just players just get better. And, Nicholas Batum, who else? Luke Kennard's actually been pretty decent. Luke Kennard was actually pretty good anyways last year. Marcus Morris, I haven't seen too much of this year, to be honest. But then they also added Norman Powell. And Powell is just, those first games he came in, he straight up killed it. So it's like, what are you going to do with this team? I believe this is similar to the Nets. I was like, I don't know if any team wants this matchup. Why would you want this matchup? This is one of those matchups. I mean, if I was a coach or a player and seeing what they've done in the comeback, they're the best comeback team in the NBA, period. I mean, with the amount of comebacks, I think they came back from I'm not 100 if they came back from a 30, but they came back from a couple of 20 down games. So it's like, you can't really mess with this team. And they don't even have Jay Scrubs, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, I don't think Jay Scrubs. I think Jay Scrubs is actually injured. I totally forgot that Jason Preston, that guard from March Madness, I forget what school it was, but he was dominant. And he hasn't really. Oh, and one of the biggest ballers out there, Terrence Mann. You remember in the playoffs, he dropped that 40 piece with when Kawhi went out and him and George just kind of, and I think George actually was at that point too. I'm not 100, but they got a bunch of ballers, I'm telling you. And if Kawhi is actually, I'm not sure if he's actually going to be playing. And similar to Jared, I'm not sure if he's going to be playing in this playing game. But if he does, y'all in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. But with the shooting of Amir Coffey, no, not Amir Coffey. Amir Coffey's a pretty decent shooter too, actually. Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, and Luke Kennard. Like, how could you go wrong? One of those guys is always on the field, on the court, and point guard. I was about to call Paul George point guard, but as y'all know, the hating went down for PG. Forget what the nickname they had from last year when. He was like started somewhat playing. He wasn't really playing bad. He had like one off game or so, and everybody started hating on him. But yeah, I believe they're gonna go ahead and win that. That one was not too hard, and I obviously talked a lot about just their freaking starters and bench and all that. But would you be surprised if Chris Finch's squad actually beat them? No, I wouldn't be surprised. With just the amount of talent. This is actually, like, I feel like most NBA teams are deep, but this squad is deep to the sheds, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we could just go ahead. I mean, like, right off the bat, you got D'Angelo, you got Anthony Edwards, you got Carl the Town. I mean, if those guys are on, how can you beat this team? It's like, it's damn near impossible to beat this team if they're on. But then again, you're facing the Clippers. So I'm going to go ahead and, even though I'm saying what I'm saying, I'm going to go ahead and go with the old boy, the Clippers. And let's see what happens in this matchup over here. These matchups, I don't know if I guess, because I just don't feel like either team has the experience or the star power, but would you be surprised if the Spurs ended up beating the Pelicans and then they take on the Timberwolves, which I'm going to 100% go ahead and go with that as well, and I'm going to say that it's going to be Spurs. Actually, no, I'm not going to say that because then that's just kind of, because, with CJ McCollum and the Pelicans have been a different team. I don't know if a lot of people. I feel like he's gonna show off this player right here. Not Najee Marshall. Najee Marshall's not too bad. Who is it? Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy the third. He's been a dog, ladies and gentlemen. Bark, bark. Um, Jose Alvarado's been pretty decent coming off the bench. I think he's actually started some. The Valanciunas been here and there. They actually lost. Who was it they lost? Not Gary Clark. Kyra Lewis. Yeah, it was Kyra Lewis they lost. So that was a pretty bad loss. And obviously the biggest one of them all, Zion Williams. But then again, you have Devontae Graham, who can be like literally. I don't want to. I mean, There's times where he looks unstoppable. I want to go ahead and say elite. Willie Hernan Gomez is not too bad, but Trey Murphy, I feel like they need to give him like more playing time. I don't know if they are going to give him more playing time during this game. If they do, I feel like they're going to benefit from it. But we're going to see what happens. I feel like if somebody could show up and like show him what it is, because man, Trey Murphy can ball out. He actually did have that fall or whatever, so I don't know if they're watching out for him, because I forget what game it was, like 6-7 games ago, where he like fell down and like just didn't look too great, and I don't know if they're watching out for that or not, but yeah. But then with the Spurs, they're a whole different situation. But the one problem with them is the one man band, DeJounte Murray, Gigi Murray. DJ just hasn't really played that much. Actually, I don't even remember the last time he played, to be honest. Does say April 10th. So okay, so he was actually out for 67 games before. So I actually did watch some of this game yesterday, but I don't remember. Actually, I watched a highlight of it. I didn't actually watch the game. So, but yeah, so DJ's back. So I guess that even gives him a bigger chance. Actually, that gives him a really good chance to even probably find a way in. Then you also got Lonnie Walker, the third, Lonnie Walker, and you got Keldon Johnson, three bona fide stars in the future. Well, actually, Murray's actually already a star. He actually made the All Stars. I feel like Keldon or Lonnie, one of them two, is gonna make the All or could make the All Stars next year. And then you got Josh Richardson, who's been balling ever since he joined. Langford's been pretty here and there. There's one player that I'm missing. Vassell is actually really good too. Trey Jones has been really good. And then you got Zach Collins, who just came off of injury. Diop is here and there, and then you got I'm missing one man off this band. Joshua Primo. Joshua Primo is actually pretty good too. I think it was like 2 years ago that he was drafted, or a year ago. But yeah, Joshua Primo is pretty legit too. So it's like Dougie. I think Dougie the Schmuggy is actually out. So yeah, that situation is not too great for them. But everybody else can shoot. They got rid of two of their top shooters, as in who went to freaking Denver Nuggets, and then you got Patty Mills, who left too, and they actually got rid of who went to Celtics. I'm totally forgetting every single one of their names. Derek White, who was really playing really well, but they got rid of him. But they actually got a lot of good players. I think they got Josh Richardson and Romeo Langford, and they might have gotten somebody else for him, but it could have been payment situations and all that too. Sometimes the league works in weird and mysterious ways that I don't fully understand. Celtics did get Daniel Tice somehow. I don't know. Weird situation down in Boston it was. I guess they made some good decisions, because now they need Daniel Tice, and they also really need Horford, but Horford could also play power or the center. I think he's more of a power guy, or more of a forward guy, but whatever. But yeah, Sabotage out, ladies and gentlemen. This is it for today, and hopefully, so yeah, I'm gonna go with Spurs. No, actually, I'm gonna go with Timberwolves also beating the Spurs too. So I'm gonna pretty much go with what's there, even though it's actually almost doesn't make sense, because anyone I've made cases or somewhat cases, probably not the greatest cases, but whatever, that any of these teams have a chance. I mean, I guess that's what the play-in's made for. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the teams that already have just a bit more experience, even though Timberwolves actually weren't in the plans, or they haven't been in a situation playoffs in about 2 to 3 years or so, or it could even be more. Um, I forget if the Clippers obviously were in last year, or the Spurs. I'm pretty sure Spurs were in this situation. Forget the whole playing situation for the West last year, actually. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Like I said, Timberwolves gonna be in that 8 seed. Clippers gonna be in that 7 seed, and um, I'm pretty sure I said Hawks over Cavs. Did I say Hawks over Cavs? Whatever I said. Um, obviously. Well, sabotage out, ladies and gentlemen.